Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather. I have a ton of great wallets that are shipping out today that I would love to show you. And before I get to that, I also wanted to show you these Vibergs. This is a natural shell Cordovan boot from Viberg that I happen to love the look of, and I've been keeping people updated on this over the year that I've had this. And there were some requests for me to polish this up because I haven't done anything to it yet. It's sort of just been worn and not cared for. And the verdict that everybody has asked for is for me to brush these. So I'm going to brush these for 15 minutes or a little time-lapse video here. I'll try to speed it up so you can see what that looks like after it is brushed up. So here we are again with the natural shell boots from Viberg. I'm going to set the timer here, give these a good polish. Hopefully something changes. So let's see how it goes. I'm already starting to see the luster come back a little bit. I think what's happening, perhaps, is just some of the dirt is coming off here, and that's only been a minute of brushing these. It's already looking slightly improved, so we'll keep going. So it's been about 5 minutes here. Let's take a look and give my arm a break. It's interesting. I actually think it's definitely improving. It's not even a minor improvement at the moment, and we're only a third of the way there. So let's keep going and keep giving myself a good workout. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I feel like I'm starting to hit the point of diminishing returns, but it does look much improved. Let me give you the best I can show of a compare and contrast here. I'm still seem to be struggling with the area where the leather breaks and creases onto itself. Or most leathers, you would see a little bit of pebbling here. The shell doesn't crease, so we don't see that same sort of pebbling, but that does seem to be where I'm getting dull spots. It kind of looks like the wax that originally came on the boot, the way that Viberg had finished this. I feel like I still see a little bit of that original wax. It's like kind of a white look. I'm not super fond of. I'm trying to get that out a bit, but this brush might not have enough fill to get enough friction and heat to sort of blend in that wax. But let's keep going.
Very close to that.
Oh, there's the timer. All right, so that's 15 minutes of brushing, and I do think these are well improved. I don't know. It does seem it does seem like it has gotten a little bit better, even from the 10 to 15 minute interval. but only marginally. I think the biggest and probably most obvious improvement was from the first 5 minutes. So maybe you want to just try brushing for 5 minutes, because I'm noticing this does look a lot less hazy and more bright and shiny. Actually, the one I did not touch looks a little bit dirty. So maybe you got something out of that. I'm actually kind of excited with how these look now, because the shell Cordovan is just super nice. Now I have way too many boots and shoes to wear, but I'm thinking I'm going to bring these back into the regular rotation. After that polishing, I do tend to like it a lot more than I thought. So thank you guys for suggesting that to me, and I'm hopefully you learned a little bit about this as well. And now I'm sweating. So hopefully you enjoyed that 15 minutes of brushing. Maybe I should make it ASMR next time. But let's go on to some of the stuff that is shipping out today. And I can't wait for you. I know this particular customer I was just speaking with today. I can't wait for you to have this raw shell Cordovan Fat Herbie. Just look at that incredible grain on the outside of this one. This was my dream for many years, to come up with this leather. And the idea was to have a leather that would have the most potential to patina, darken, and develop a great, bright, shiny luster naturally over time. And this is the result of that, the raw shell Cordovan. I had been wearing this other one here for about a year. Let's take a look at that. It's developed into this really beautiful golden brown shade from what was once this light tan color. And what I think is the most interesting thing is how the luster has shined up over time. It's definitely become more like a regular piece of shell Cordovan without doing anything. Just the natural patina on this raw shell Cordovan is really something special. So I can't wait for you to have this Fat Herbie. And I had another order here for another Fat Herbie in natural shell Cordovan. And this I thought would be a good opportunity to demonstrate the difference between the two. And again, for me, the biggest difference is the luster. You can really see the raw shell when I sort of let the light bounce off of it. It has a subtle sheen, but is nothing close to the luster of a regular shell. That bright and shiny, mirror-like luster. Sometimes I notice that the color is a little bit lighter on the raw shells. This one seems to be a little less orange as well at certain angles. But the natural shell Fat Herbie was our first love. This was the wallet that we were demonstrating to people to show how shell Cordovan develops patina over time. And if you look on the main page of our website, ashlandleather.com, you can see this same wallet, comparison of day 1 to day 1000. And the way it's aged is phenomenal. It's kind of similar to the raw shell. And up next here, I thought this was a nice progression from raw to natural and then to amaretto shell here. Sort of 3 of the lightest shell Cordovan colors. And I said that the raw shell was my dream, but this is my favorite. The amaretto shell Cordovan is just an exceptional color, and I'm sure you can see what I'm talking about here. It's a nice tan shade. It's got a little bit of vibrance to it that I really like. And a lot of times, I say this about a lot of the Horween leathers, a lot of the times many other leathers in the world are very heavily finished. So it looks more like paint, but the amaretto shell here, and in fact, most Horween stuff, looks very naturally finished. And by doing that, it allows you an opportunity to develop your own natural finish on there that we call the patina. So the veg tan leather of a shell Cordovan will deepen and darken in color over time, and the luster starts to develop its own little face on the surface of the shell that I just think is really special. And the amaretto shell Cordovan Fat Herbie here, one of my all-time favorites. Up next is a black Chrome Excel Giant of the Fox, and this one has the black Horsehide interior. I thought it would be a good opportunity to show you this. This is shipping out today, and we have a couple of these left that we are clearing out of. I've made the decision to switch all of our black non-shell leathers over to Dublin. And this is the Chrome Excel, and this is the Dublin. So for me, I just find the Dublin to be a little bit more interesting in terms of grain character. It has a little bit more natural depth to it as far as the grain, like a little bit more texture when you compare it to the Chrome Excel, which is much more polished and smooth. It's very nice. It's a premium leather. But for me, the Dublin is next level. And the other interesting side effect by switching over to the Dublin is a full veg. So you get an incredible aging characteristic out of this Dublin leather. It molds and conforms around everything you put into it, but it does the same sort of luster development that we see on the shells. You see the same sort of luster develop even on the black Dublin here. And that's because the Dublin is tanned using the same tree bark that we use in the shell Cordovan, in the pits when we tan the Cordovan. That same tree bark is used to tan the Dublin, and that's, to me, what makes it extra special. Both of these are very nice, but the Dublin is just next level. And speaking of Dublin, I have an English tan Dublin, Frank the Enforcer here, and perhaps my favorite non-shell Cordovan color. And it's probably because it's similar to the Amaretto, but this is the English tan Dublin. I love this shade, and I love this leather, the natural grain character, the luster, the way it ages. But the English tan in particular has this really awesome brownish tan color, and it has more undertones of a little bit of yellow. So like when you flex the leather, and even when you load it up with cards, you can see a little bit more yellowy undertones. It just gives it a really satisfying depth of color. So I love the English tan Dublin, and this is a beautiful Frank the Enforcer. The last wallet that is shipping out today is a color number 8 shell Cordovan Johnny the Fox. This is super nice. The shell on this is probably one of the shiniest that I've ever seen. They're all hand finished by Horween, so you do see a little bit of a range as far as luster, and then we polish them up here in-house after they've been constructed into a wallet. That's a beautiful piece of shell, and what I like most about these is how the mock interior, this sort of light tan sand shade, I think that color really sets off every other color on the outside of a wallet. So I notice it a lot on the color 8, like this Johnny the Fox here, but I really also notice it on things like intense blue and the garnet. There's something about this mock that makes all the other colors pop. And I lied, that was not the last wallet. I have a couple JR Fold wallets that were custom ordered. And this is again in the raw shell Cordovan. So the JR Fold is very much a minimalist style. This is designed with the molding characteristics of veg leather in mind, because vegetable tan leathers will hold their shape, especially when introduced to moisture, heat, and time. So the combination of those 3 factors allow this leather to wrap around whatever you put in there. So what I do is in this little tab right here, I will put cards behind this and bills behind it. And it's a little scary at first because this is loose in there, but the more you use it, you start to notice that the cards don't go anywhere because the leather has just conformed around it. And on top of that, this is a remarkable piece of raw shell Cordovan. I know who this one is for as well, and I can't wait for you to have this across the world. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one wears in. And last up, I have one more JR Fold wallet. This one is in cobalt blue Dublin. Let's fold this guy up. And because the Dublin leather is also a veg, it will give us those same molding characteristics, which is why I will only make this product on a vegetable tan leather. And the cobalt blue is very beautiful. It has that sort of aqua blue undertones, the darker blue on the surface. I just can't stop staring at this color. It's mesmerizing. But this JR Fold wallet is also going to a special customer. And I can't wait for you to try this one out. I'd be really curious to see what you think. The ones I've tried, I've had great success with. So thank you for checking out all the great wallets in the video today. There's so many good ones. The raw shell Cordovan has a special place in my heart. So we had the raw shell Fat Herbie. We have a raw shell JR Fold wallet named after Arnold Horween Jr., the 3rd generation from Horween Leather Company. And then we had my favorite shell color, the Amaretto shell Cordovan. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys had a great week. I really hope you're staying healthy and thanking all of our healthcare workers. Those are the real heroes in the world right now. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you again next week.